Hello riders. Okay, we're going to do a luggage review, and I've arrived in Dante's Peak, which is Wallace, Idaho, and just had a nice fresh rain shower, so the bike is soaking wet, but thankfully I reached here successfully without the rain hitting me. The bike's filthy because up in Montana I did hit a stretch of road that was unsealed, gravel, mud, every combination of crap really, going uphill, and so I had to switch the bike on to adventure mode, stand up on the foot pegs and try and get through it without falling over, because with the top boxes and panniers and my 95 kgs, there's a lot of weight there. And the transverse V-twin kind of sits up, so the center of gravity's higher than what you'd expect, and then all that fuel in the fuel tank, 21 litres, you know, it's all a bit top heavy, so the advice was to stand on the pegs when you're on that kind of slippy, gravelly mud stuff, and it worked. So I managed to get through and go over going to the Sun Road in Montana without falling and damaging myself or the bike. So let's have a look at these pieces of luggage that come with the adventure model. So you've got two panniers. If we look on the back, I think I mentioned this in the last video, but the right hand pannier is full width. The left hand pannier isn't quite full width because of the exhaust system, so you do lose a bit on the left hand side, but you know, that's just how the cookie crumbles really. And the top box is nice and big, sits quite far back, so you could still have a passenger sitting on the rear seat, two up. I've not carried anyone. I keep my red box here, sorry, my red bag, strapped down with some rock straps, but all of these boxes are full. Now I'm going to take them off and go into my room and just show you how I've laid out the boxes, but the first thing I kind of cocked up touring was that I put things in the luggage in a haphazard way. Now they're all sorted perfectly, so I can tell you that in this one on the left is all my camping stuff. So you can see there I've got my sleeping bag, my air mattress, and hidden underneath all of this kind of cleaning stuff is my camping stove, first aid kit and whatnot. So that's all in there. So real easy to open and latch down. You literally just turn the key vertical and then you can push it all the way in, and then you turn it horizontal and then just extract the key. So that's how simple the locks are, and they're pretty secure. They're also waterproof, so you can see this is covered in water, and when I opened that box there was no water inside, so they've got a good sealing system that you can leave the boxes on the bike out in the rain and you don't need to worry. Okay, this one is a bit bigger, has a different key, so I don't know if you can get a key for all three boxes, but I have two different keys. 8.7 is for the top one and 8.4 is for the two side ones. So if I open this one, I keep all my clothing in this one, and also my wet weather gear. So I've got my Gore-Tex jacket and my Scott rain pants as well, and things like cables, things I need to get into quickly I put in this one. Toilet bags there. Now you do have to make sure that everything is away from the seam, otherwise you won't be able to close it if you're going to use this extra capacity here. So the lid goes up about 2.5 inches, so you can have your clothes a bit higher than the top of the box, but make sure that nothing gets caught all the way around, otherwise you won't be able to close it down again and get your key out. So the boxes are on the bike. Let me show you how you get them off the bike. So down on the side is a lock mechanism, and basically you just stick your key in the slot and rotate it so it's kind of horizontal. And then all you're doing, these side ones are a bit fidgety, so you need a clear space here near the seat, basically, so you can get your hand underneath the red frame of the bike. And what you're doing is, I'm almost pushing with my knee here and then lifting this red lever or button, whatever you want to call it. So with 2 fingers, it does need a bit of force because there's a lot of stress holding this onto this frame. So hopefully this works. There we go. So pushed it up. You can kind of see it moving up, and then it just falls away off the bike. Okay. So I'm doing this with one hand because I'm trying to show you a video. So you can see this pannier is covered with mud just from the back wheel. It can all be washed off, it's no problem. The whole box is sealed, so water's not going to get into it. It's riveted on the bottom and there's welding everywhere. I'm just going to put this down. And then you just take the key out, so make sure that other keys are out of the way, rotate it and then extract. And that's, you got the box off. So your dealer, if you buy the bike from the dealer, will install the frame. So the frame came from Aprilia Moto Guzzi Portland, already installed with the boxes on the bike, so I didn't need to do any of this. But maybe if you buy the other version of the bike, not the adventure version but the standard version, and you want to add on the boxes later, I'm sure you can have the boxes on this silver nickel frame sent to you, and then you can attach it yourself, and it looks like it's just, you know, bolted in different points on this red frame and then onto this point where the pegs are. So that's it. It's completely sturdy, although, as I said in one of the comments to one of my subscribers, they were asking about speed, on what kind of speed they can travel on the bike to commute to work. And it does say, and I only noticed this the other day, but it says in the box, there's a warning label that says maximum weight load is 5 kgs or 11 pounds, but the maximum speed that you can travel with the top box on is 80 miles per hour, 130 kilometers an hour. So I've definitely exceeded that. I've been boosting around because I'm a stupid idiot at mainly 85 miles an hour on most of the roads in America, because they're so straight it's hard to not put your foot down and just floor it really to get where you want to go. Now you see it's not closing, so something somewhere is stopping it sealing properly. So you just need to have a quick look round and tuck in. If you're going to use that extra capacity, just make sure nothing's touching those seals. Otherwise, it's probably this little thing here that was getting in the way. There we go. So I've showed you how to take off the side panniers, and that's the same process on both sides of the bike. So regardless, the top box slightly different. The lock that keeps it on the bike is actually underneath, and it locks it down. So again, you just stick the key in, it goes in vertically, you turn it horizontal. Sorry, better focus on what I'm doing. And then all you're doing is you're pulling this lever out, and that'll unlock it. So you can see there it moved up a bit when I did that, and now I can take it off the bike. Okay, so the thing that's holding it is, if you look right underneath, there is another L-shaped bar that hooks onto the tube frame, and that's what locks it down with this lock up here, and keeps it in place. Alright, and then all you need to do is lift it off. Okay, so to load the boxes back on, you kind of mount them in position, making sure those guides and the bottom hook are in position. Make sure that you put the key in and unlock the locking mechanism, and just make sure the key's out of the way, and then basically you want to lift that button and then push in until you hear it click, and then you can rotate the key again and extract. And that's the side pannier on solidly, so you can see it's perfectly mounted there. Okay, so that's the box properly mounted, and it's the same process to do the left hand side pannier as well. The top box slightly different, but same principle, is you've got to hook in this L-shaped bracket onto this round tube here, and then the locking mechanism, as I said, goes into these two holes. So let's see if I can do that with one hand. So all I'm doing is trying to guide that L-shaped bracket into the place to lock into. So that seems to all be in position. Make sure the key is in the horizontal position so it's unlocked, and then you should just be able to push down quite hard and it'll lock onto the bike. So just give it a bit of elbow grease. So you heard it click there, that's it into position, and then you can rotate the key again and extract. Voila. So all the boxes are off the bike, and you can see that the dealer has also installed this frame for the top box. So this is incredibly solid and mounted to that rear red frame, and this is the bit that the box locks into at the front near the rider, and then the two locking mechanisms lock in here. So it's not going anywhere. You can see though that the frames and underneath the top box get covered in mud when you go off-road, and or if you're just in a dirty environment. So I need to clean the bike. I'll probably just let it sit here in the rain and that'll do the job for me. But hopefully that's been useful, because when I got it I had no idea how to take these off. I couldn't find the lock to get the top box off, so maybe that's useful for people. I've never travelled with luggage before, never had panniers or a top box. On my V7 I just have a little Ogio bag that I strap down to the sissy bars over the rear seat, but I much prefer this system where you've got lockable boxes and that are sealed and watertight, so you can leave them out in a parking lot, or if you're off to do something, going to a tour or whatever, and nobody can interfere with your luggage. So that's great. Okay, looks like it's clearing up a bit. I'm staying at the Stardust Hotel in Wallace, so I better go out and explore and enjoy this little town. Thanks, this is Ewan Mackenzie, not Ewan McGregor. Keep watching and I'll post more soon. Bye.